Aliens? Ghosts? Superpowers? Welcome to the wildest anime of the year, Dandadan. A nerd who believes in aliens and a girl who only trusts ghosts. Sounds like a rom-com, right? Wrong. Get ready for insane battles, hilarious chaos, and a love story wrapped in supernatural madness. Buckle up, because Dandadan is about to take you on a ride like never before. Subscribe now for the craziest anime breakdowns. We're diving into the first episode of Dandadan, and trust me, this is where the madness begins. Aliens, ghosts, and one crazy dare, our main characters, Momo and Ken, are about to enter a world they never believed could exist. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, things get intense. Momo's boyfriend is a total jerk, pressuring her into sleeping with him just to borrow money or stay in a relationship. When Momo refuses, he drops a cruel line, "I'm not interested in poor girls who won't even put out." That's a huge red flag, right? But Momo isn't having any of it. She delivers a swift kick to his face and knocks him down. But the emotional aftermath hits hard. She's heartbroken, and her friends can't even sympathize with her anymore. They're all tired of her seafood-related swearing and drama. Honestly, it's a pretty tough scene to watch. Then, we meet the shy, bookish guy sitting in the hallway. He's clearly getting bullied, but Momo, being fed up with the world, sits down and asks to see his book. What follows is an interesting exchange. Momo doesn't believe in UFOs or aliens. But the boy? He's all about them. He even brings up the US military's acknowledgement of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Despite her disbelief, Momo's curiosity gets the better of her, and the two end up arguing about aliens, ghosts, and the supernatural. Things take a strange turn when Momo challenges the boy, saying that if ghosts are real, he'll be her servant. And if aliens are real, she'll admit it. The boy, undeterred by Momo's challenge, gets an idea. Let's go to a haunted place and see if they can find any proof. Now, we arrive at Nagi Hospital, a notorious hotspot for UFO sightings. Momo's skeptical, but she's in for a spooky night. As Momo and the boy make their way inside, the debate continues. Momo swears she believes in ghosts, claiming her grandma is a medium who raised her. The boy, on the other hand, mocks the idea, claiming there's no scientific proof ghosts exist. The tension rises when Momo talks about the rituals her grandmother made her do. She reveals how the boys she liked made fun of her because of these superstitions, which deeply hurt her. But what really gets to her is how people mock her grandma, who is special to her in ways most don't understand. The boy responds confidently, stating that if Momo encounters an alien, she'll have to work for him that night. Momo ventures alone into an abandoned hospital rumored to be a UFO hotspot. While shining her flashlight, she calls the boy, asking if he's ever been abducted for experiments. He responds that he might have been, as abductees often lose their memories. Meanwhile, the boy explores a sealed tunnel known for being haunted. He becomes scared but gathers courage after Momo mocks him over the phone. As he walks deeper into the tunnel, he asks Momo if she's ever seen a ghost. When she admits she hasn't, he gets annoyed by her boldness. Momo then opens up about her grandmother, who raised her after her parents died. She explains the ritual her family performed before leaving the house. Despite once blaming her grandmother and stopping the ritual, Momo admits her anger when others mock her family and their beliefs. The boy is moved by her story. Momo tells the boy she believes in ghosts because of the significance her grandmother had in her life. She asks him why he believes in aliens. He replies that he doesn't think you need a reason to believe in something. Momo, impressed by his honesty, says she likes the way he talks straight. As they continue their conversation, the boy notices bloody footprints leading down the tunnel and suddenly encounters an old woman with glittering eyes. The woman says, I'll let you suckle my breast, but only if you let me suck your little one. Terrified, the boy runs, but Momo warns him that escaping is dangerous. She tries to help but is intercepted by 3 mysterious men who turn out to be aliens. They capture her, and she wakes up in their ship. The aliens explain their species consists only of males and that they reproduce by cloning. The aliens reveal their intentions to use Momo's body for reproduction and research. Despite her resistance, Momo's psychic powers begin to awaken, allowing her to fight back. Meanwhile, the boy, now cursed by the Tubo Granny, arrives and is possessed by her. He suddenly declares that he will protect Momo, willing to become a monster if it means keeping her safe. The aliens are confused by his aggression and demands for Momo's safety. Despite their bizarre tactics, Momo and the boy continue to defy the aliens. Momo manages to break free and unleashes her psychic energy, defeating the aliens and their ship's cloaking device. As they escape the crashing UFO, the boy's curse persists, and they both find themselves believing in ghosts and aliens. Momo vows to suppress the curse until Tubo Granny is defeated. The boy, now named Takakura Ken, takes off his shirt and offers it to Momo, but she refuses to let him go alone, insisting he wouldn't survive without her. Momo picks up his shirt and makes him wear it, showing care for him as her heart skips a beat. She wonders if her feelings are because he sounds like her idol, Takakura Ken, and it turns out they share the same name. The boy struggles with his feelings as the curse continues to affect him. He expresses gratitude for Momo's help but feels guilty for involving her. Momo reassures him, insisting that she won't leave him alone. They prepare to return to the tunnel and confront Tubo Granny once again. Despite the challenges they face, Momo is determined to stay by his side. As the two head towards the tunnel, the boy begins to open up more about his feelings for Momo, and she starts to realize her growing attachment to him. The aliens continue to target Momo, but she resists their attempts to control her mind. With newfound psychic abilities, Momo fights back and begins to channel the energy passed down by her grandmother. As the curse lingers, the duo plans to face Tubo Granny once and for all. The boy, having gained strength from Momo, decides that he won't let anyone harm her. Together, they prepare for their final battle, now united in their beliefs and resolved to fight whatever comes next. As they head back into the tunnel, the boy and Momo brace themselves for the final showdown with Tubo Granny. Despite everything they've been through, they still have questions about the curse and the aliens. But they are ready to face their fears and confront their future together. They end up in the UFO, now a real believer in both aliens and ghosts. They share a final moment before gearing up for their next adventure. The boy reflects on how everything started with his lonely childhood and dreams of meeting aliens. Momo, standing by him, reassures him that they will fight Tubo Granny together, and they both take one last step into the unknown. The episode closes with them heading into the tunnel, ready for whatever lies ahead. In this episode, Ken and Momo continue to deal with an overwhelming series of supernatural events, including a powerful curse, an alien encounter, and a malevolent spirit. Ken, now cursed by an alien, struggles as the sinister force gradually takes control of his body, affecting both his mind and movements. Momo, using her spiritual powers, desperately attempts to suppress the curse, but their situation only worsens. Ken's erratic and uncontrollable behavior makes it difficult for him to function, and as they navigate this terrifying ordeal, they are soon confronted by an even greater danger, a vengeful spirit lurking in the shadows. Desperate for safety, they make their way to Momo's house, hoping that the barriers surrounding it will provide some protection. However, as soon as Ken steps past the threshold, his body is engulfed in flames, a sign that the house's spiritual defenses recognize him as a cursed being. He collapses in agony, and Momo frantically works to douse the flames while adjusting the barrier's power to allow him entry. After a chaotic struggle, she finally manages to stabilize him, but the damage has already been done. Ken's energy is severely depleted, and his body continues to suffer from the effects of the curse. Once inside, Momo helps Ken change his burned clothes, revealing strange, pulsating markings spreading across his skin. The two realize that the curse has taken something vital from him, though they are unsure of what exactly has been lost. Ken, exhausted and overwhelmed, finally breaks down, revealing that he never wanted to be caught up in these supernatural conflicts. He just wanted to have friends. His words cut deep, and Momo, despite her usual tough exterior, softens as she listens. She reassures him that she is here to help, but warns him that reckless actions will only worsen their predicament. Before they can recover, the atmosphere shifts, and an eerie mist seeps into the house. Out of the fog, a bizarre figure emerges, a towering alien resembling the infamous Flatwoods monster. The alien is not alone. It is accompanied by a grotesque spirit, its twisted form shifting unnaturally as it moves toward them. Momo and Ken quickly realize they are trapped. The mist is a supernatural barrier designed to isolate them. With no way out, they must figure out how to survive. As they try to come up with a strategy, Ken suddenly loses control. The curse overtakes him, his body moving against his will as his eyes glow with an unnatural light. He is possessed. Momo attempts to restrain him, but his cursed strength makes it nearly impossible. Just as things seem hopeless, a miraculous moment occurs. Ken, despite being possessed, fights back against the alien's control. Summoning the last of his strength, he uses his cursed abilities to attack the alien, momentarily turning the tide in their favor. However, each attack causes him excruciating pain, pushing him closer to the edge. Realizing that brute force won't be enough, Momo devises a plan. They must force the alien to touch the ground, believing that it relies on floating to maintain its supernatural abilities. Using a combination of Ken's unstable powers and Momo's spiritual techniques, they lure the creature into a trap. At the last second, Ken delivers a devastating blow, forcing the alien to make contact with the earth. The moment it does, its body begins to destabilize, and the grotesque spirit howls in agony as it, too, begins to weaken. Though they have managed to turn the fight in their favor, their struggle is far from over. Ken's body is still deteriorating, and the curse continues to spread. Momo knows they are running out of time. With enemies still lurking in the mist, they must find a way to break Ken's curse before it consumes him completely. The battle has only just begun. The episode opens with Seiko appearing on a fortune-telling show, where she is expected to showcase her legendary psychic abilities. However, to everyone's surprise, she gets every single detail wrong, leading the audience and viewers to doubt her powers. Some mock her as a fraud, while others wonder if her abilities have faded with age. After the show, she is approached by a taxi driver who seems unusually interested in her abilities, but Seiko quickly dismisses him, unwilling to entertain further questions. Meanwhile, Momo is caught in the chaos of a cursed spirit named Turbo Granny. Seiko later explains that Turbo Granny is not just any spirit. She's a highly dangerous, territorial entity that fused with a bound spirit in a local tunnel, making her nearly invincible within her domain. This revelation sends chills down Momo's spine, as she realizes the magnitude of the threat they are facing. To combat Turbo Granny, Seiko sets up powerful psychic barriers designed to trap and eliminate her if she attempts to leave her territory. However, the battle is far from over. As Seiko prepares for the confrontation, Momo struggles with her emotions, feeling deeply responsible for dragging Ken into this supernatural conflict. She has begun developing new psychic powers, but they remain unstable, making it difficult for her to control them effectively. Seiko, sensing Momo's inner turmoil, warns her to step away from the fight and move on with her life. She insists that Turbo Granny is too dangerous, and getting involved any further will only put Momo at greater risk. However, Momo refuses to back down. Her growing feelings for Ken, whether as a friend or something more, push her to stay by his side, determined to help him break free from the curse. As they prepare for the impending battle, Seiko reveals a crucial piece of information. Each supernatural territory is governed by a god, and their presence dictates the power balance within the area. This means that when Seiko leaves her own territory, her psychic abilities are significantly weakened, making her less effective against spirits like Turbo Granny. She advises Momo to focus on harnessing all her senses to control her newfound powers, emphasizing that true psychic strength comes from attuning oneself to the unseen forces around them. While training continues, the episode introduces humorous moments to balance the intense supernatural conflict. Ken, still dealing with his curse, finds himself struggling with simple tasks, such as controlling his movements. In one scene, he urgently needs to use the restroom, but his cursed body keeps resisting his attempts. Momo, despite her growing frustrations, tries to help him while also working on controlling her own powers. These light-hearted moments provide comic relief amidst the looming danger. Just as things seem to settle, the atmosphere shifts, and an ominous presence fills the air. Turbo Granny makes her intentions clear. She will use Ken's curse to kill everyone he has ever met. This revelation sends shockwaves through the group, making them realize that time is running out. They can no longer afford to wait or train at their own pace. They must act before the curse spreads any further. Seiko reveals the only way to truly defeat Turbo Granny. They must lure her out of her territory. Outside her domain, she will be significantly weakened, making her vulnerable to their attacks. However, executing this plan will be extremely dangerous, as Turbo Granny will undoubtedly fight back with everything she has to avoid being dragged out of her safe zone. Despite the risks, Momo makes her final decision. She will stand by Ken and fight. Though she is still confused about her true feelings toward him, she knows that she can't abandon him now. The group boards a train, heading toward their decisive battle with Turbo Granny. The ride is tense, filled with unresolved emotions, lingering fears, and the weight of what's to come. As the episode closes, the group braces themselves for what might be their most difficult fight yet. Turbo Granny is waiting for them, and she is more dangerous than ever. Ken and Momo's battle with Turbo Granny begins as a desperate struggle. Ken, still new to his powers, hesitates at first, while Momo relies on her intelligence and quick reflexes to stay ahead of the formidable spirit. Turbo Granny's terrifying presence looms over them, and despite their combined efforts, they find themselves on the verge of defeat. Momo tries to use her abilities to counter the spirit's overwhelming strength, but she is quickly outmatched. Just as things seem hopeless, she recalls Seiko's advice. Sometimes, the best way to beat an enemy isn't through brute force but by outwitting them. With this in mind, Momo boldly challenges Turbo Granny to a race. Setting simple rules, Turbo Granny must count to 10 minutes before chasing them. However, the spirit deceitfully speeds up the countdown, skipping from 10 minutes to 10 seconds in an instant. Ken and Momo barely have time to react before Turbo Granny is already upon them, forcing them to think fast. Ken, realizing he can no longer hesitate, draws upon the power of his special outfit. He grabs onto Turbo Granny, using his growing abilities to weaken her. A fierce struggle ensues as the two try to escape, with Momo assisting Ken by using her abilities strategically. Turbo Granny, furious at their resistance, refuses to let them go without a fight. Just as they think they've evaded her, Turbo Granny summons a monstrous, spectral crab to hunt them down. The gigantic creature crashes through the surroundings, relentlessly pursuing them as Ken and Momo scramble for safety. Ken taps into his latent demonic transformation, his body shifting as his supernatural powers flare to life. Momo, ever resourceful, takes control of objects around them, altering their trajectory and movement to dodge the crab's massive attacks. As they navigate the treacherous battlefield, they spot a nearby hot spring. Realizing they can use the boiling water to their advantage, they lure the monstrous crab toward it. The creature recoils as the steaming water scalds its form, but Turbo Granny isn't finished yet. Refusing to be outdone, she merges with the crab, transforming into an even more terrifying version of herself. the grotesque fusion roars in fury, forcing Ken and Momo to fight even harder. Determined to end the battle, Momo devises a final plan. She provokes Turbo Granny, goading her into an enraged pursuit. The spirit, blinded by fury, chases them directly into Seiko's territory, a place infused with purifying energy. The moment Turbo Granny crosses the threshold, the cursed crab body begins to dissolve, its supernatural energy unraveling. The spirits that had been bound by Turbo Granny's influence are finally set free, their suffering coming to an end. As the spirits ascend, it is revealed that Turbo Granny had not meant to torment them. She had been trying to comfort them in her own twisted way, unable to let go. With the battle finally over, Ken, Momo, and Seiko return home, exhausted but victorious. The tension from their harrowing ordeal fades into a light-hearted moment, as Seiko prepares a meal featuring crab meat. Momo and Seiko playfully tease Ken, who at first refuses to eat but eventually gives in, unable to resist the delicious food. Laughter fills the air as their bond strengthens, and they reflect on the challenges ahead. As the episode comes to a close, the trio shares a humorous farewell, joking with one another. Momo, as usual, playfully teases Ken, who grumbles in response but secretly enjoys the camaraderie. Though they've faced terrifying foes, the warmth of their friendship remains unshaken, setting the stage for even greater adventures to come. This story is a blend of supernatural action, teenage drama, and emotional growth, centered around Ken and Momo's evolving relationship amidst growing paranormal threats. Ken and Momo, both high school students, struggle with their feelings and communication. Ken, socially awkward but sincere, spends an entire night rehearsing how to greet Momo, only to hesitate when he finally sees her in the morning. He misinterprets her waiting as being for someone else, unaware that she was actually waiting for him. Their brief conversation about UFOs hints at their mutual curiosity and connection, but their bond is soon tested when Ken is bullied at school. Despite this, he remains happy simply because he has Momo as a friend. However, their day is filled with near misses, as both unknowingly look for each other but always seem to just miss crossing paths. This leads to misunderstandings, making them believe the other is avoiding them. Their confusion escalates until they accidentally collide, leading to an accidental kiss in front of their classmates. Shocked and embarrassed, they angrily deny any feelings for each other, storming off in frustration. The situation worsens as gossip spreads, causing Momo to avoid Ken when he tries to explain himself. Despite their hurt feelings, both secretly regret their words. As Ken struggles to mend their friendship, he unintentionally bumps into another girl, who playfully flirts with him. Momo, already confused about her feelings, mistakes this for romantic interest, feeling heartbroken and betrayed. However, it's later revealed that the girl was simply toying with Ken, making Momo even angrier, not just at the girl, but also at herself for caring so much. This moment highlights Momo's hidden emotions and growing attachment to Ken, even as she refuses to acknowledge them. Seeking guidance, Ken and Momo visit Grandma Seiko, a wise but eccentric spiritual expert. During a ritual meant to protect Ken from dark forces, he is unexpectedly possessed by Tu Baba, a malicious spirit. The possession forces Momo to step up, using her own hidden abilities to combat the entity. Through intense exorcisms and spiritual battles, Momo manages to extract Tu Baba, but in doing so, she unknowingly fuses her energy with Ken, linking their fates together. As Ken struggles with the aftereffects, he begins undergoing a strange transformation. Tu Baba refuses to leave, taunting them with the revelation that she has stolen Ken's jewels, a metaphor for his spirit or hidden power. Momo and Grandma Seiko work desperately to force Tu Baba out, but the spirit warns that if she dies, Ken will never recover his stolen power. Momo, determined to save Ken, offers a deal. If Tu Baba returns what she stole, they will restore her own lost power in return. However, Baba confesses that she no longer has Ken's power. It has been lost, leaving them in uncertainty. Despite this, Ken's transformation suggests that something new is awakening inside him, hinting at deeper supernatural abilities waiting to be discovered. Just as they think they have overcome one challenge, a more dangerous entity looms on the horizon. With Ken's newfound powers still unstable, Momo's lingering guilt, and their unresolved feelings, their journey is far from over. Dark forces continue to gather, setting the stage for even greater conflicts to come. This story masterfully weaves supernatural action with heartfelt drama, humor, and romance, following Ken and Momo as they navigate their evolving relationship while battling sinister forces beyond their understanding. This episode is a mix of action, suspense, and comedy as Ken, Momo, and Turbo Granny search for the missing golden orbs, which hold powerful spiritual energy. The orbs are highly sought after by spirits, especially evil ones seeking resurrection. Ken gets involved in a fight at school after hearing false rumors about Momo, showcasing his growing attachment to her. Meanwhile, Turbo Granny sneaks around the school, offering Ken help in controlling his powers, if he lets her re-enter his body. Elsewhere, Ira, the school idol, mistakenly believes she has been chosen to fight demons after discovering one of the golden orbs. She starts gathering religious artifacts, convinced that Momo is a demon and must be defeated. Turbo Granny later theorizes that a human might have found the orbs before any spirits, which would awaken their ability to see ghosts, making them an easy target for supernatural beings. The search continues, with rising tensions and new dangers ahead. Momo forced Turbo to obey her after winning their previous fight. The old lady grew furious but was stopped by Ken. Turbo revealed that if a human picked up the golden orb, they would awaken spiritual powers, allowing them to see demons. But demons could also see them. After school, Ira devised a plan to handle two demons at once. However, she noticed a girl in a red dress approaching. Feeling uneasy, Ken left to search for the orb alone, while Turbo identified the red-dressed girl as someone they had encountered earlier. Ira then signaled her friends to capture Momo, tying her hands to prevent her from using her powers. Momo retaliated, flinging them away. When Ira saw that the cross wasn't working, she pressed Ken's orb against Momo's face. Ken rushed in, warning Ira that the red-dressed woman was after her. Suddenly, the demon grabbed Ira, who oddly seemed overjoyed. The demon had waited for Ira to finally see her. Ken attempted to rescue Ira but was overpowered. The demon then swallowed Ken but couldn't digest him. Momo, though restrained, tried to save him but failed. The demon rejoiced, believing she had reunited with her daughter after 10 years. However, Ira insisted that the demon was actually Momo's mentor. Furious, the demon demanded Ira call her Mom again. Momo intervened, ordering the demon to release Ken. With their options running out, Ira suggested teaming up, but Turbo refused, claiming she no longer had enough power. Momo resisted calling the demon Mom, angering the creature, who violently tossed her around. The demon swallowed Momo, lamenting the loss of her children. Turbo then revealed that the Maneki Nico spirit attracted good fortune, which helped in their current situation. Inside the demon, Momo realized the creature's body was hollow, with only its hair being flammable. Using a hidden lighter, she set the demon's hair ablaze, forcing it to cough them all up. Now free, the group prepared for a final battle against the weakened demon. The episode begins in a dimly lit, abandoned warehouse where Momo, Ken, and Ira are trapped with Acrobatic, a powerful and erratic demon obsessed with keeping Ira as her own daughter. The battle is fast-paced and chaotic, with Acrobatic using her long, whip-like hair and supernatural agility to attack from multiple angles. The warehouse's scattered debris and towering crates create an obstacle-laden battlefield, forcing Momo and Ken to rely on quick thinking and strategy rather than brute force. Despite their efforts to evade and counter, Acrobatic proves to be overwhelming, striking with relentless precision. Ken, who has never fully embraced his potential, struggles to land a decisive blow. Meanwhile, Momo uses her agility and telekinetic abilities to throw objects and create distractions, but Acrobatic's fury makes her nearly unstoppable. Just when it seems the battle is lost, Acrobatic's own hair becomes her downfall. In the heat of battle, she miscalculates a strike, entangling herself in her own threads. Seizing the moment, Ken taps into his latent power, his body surging with dark energy. His eyes glow, his muscles tense, and a monstrous aura surrounds him. For the first time, he transforms into a demon-like state, instincts guiding his actions. With a surge of raw strength, he charges forward and delivers a devastating headbutt to Acrobatic, sending her crashing into the ground. Silence falls over the warehouse as Acrobatic lies motionless. But before they can celebrate, Momo and Ken turn to Ira, only to realize she isn't moving. Ken panics, attempting CPR, but there is no response. Momo's heart sinks as she senses that Ira's life force is fading. Acrobatic, barely conscious, proposes a desperate solution, transferring her own spiritual energy to Ira. Though skeptical of trusting the very demon they had fought, Momo sees no other way. The spiritual link in Acrobatic's tragic past. Using their combined psychic abilities, Momo and Ken form a spiritual link between Acrobatic and Ira. As the energy transfer begins, Momo unexpectedly experiences Acrobatic's memories. In a surreal vision, Momo witnesses the demon's past as a human, a single mother struggling to raise her beloved daughter, Ira, in a world that showed them little kindness. The woman worked tirelessly, taking on multiple jobs to provide for Ira. But no matter how hard she tried, the debts piled up, and relentless collectors stripped her of everything. Desperate and broken, she fell into despair, ultimately taking her own life. However, instead of passing on peacefully, her grief and unfulfilled love for Ira bound her to the world as a wandering spirit. Confused and tormented, she clung to the belief that she was still Ira's mother. Over time, the emotions warped her soul, transforming her into the demon Acrobatic. She became obsessed with keeping Ira close, convinced that only she could protect her. But her love had become twisted, leading to the very tragedy she sought to prevent. When she harmed Ira in her delusion, it shattered what remained of her humanity, fully turning her into a monster. As the vision ends, Momo realizes that Acrobatic is on the verge of complete erasure. Without human remembrance, spirits like her vanish forever, forgotten by both the living and the dead. Despite everything, Momo doesn't want Acrobatic to suffer that fate. But only Acrobatic herself can choose whether to let go of her past. Ira, now revived, slowly opens her eyes. When she sees Acrobatic fading away, she instinctively reaches for her. Tears in her eyes, Ira calls out to her lost mother, not as a monster, but as the woman who once loved her dearly. Acrobatic, overwhelmed, breaks down. She regrets not being a better mother, not being able to protect Ira the way she should have. But Ira shakes her head, her voice unwavering. She was always happy. Her mother's love, no matter how difficult their lives were, had meant everything to her. At last, the burden weighing on Acrobatic's soul lifts. With Ira's forgiveness and love, she is finally free. Her form dissolves into shimmering light, ascending peacefully to the afterlife. Momo stands in front of Ira, offering a sincere apology for accidentally hitting her with a flower pot. However, Ira remains unmoved, her arms crossed, eyes filled with suspicion. "I know what you are," Ira accuses. "You and Ken, you're demons! And you're the one controlling everything!" Momo is taken aback. No matter how much she tries to explain, Ira refuses to listen. The tension between them thickens, making reconciliation seem impossible. Meanwhile, Ken wrestles with his identity. Though his supernatural abilities make him feared, he insists that his actions are driven by a simple belief: helping others is the right thing to do. But Ira doesn't see it that way. To her, Ken is trapped under Momo's influence, and she believes it's her duty to free him. Torn between her faith and what she's seen, Ira grows increasingly desperate. Worried about future battles, Ken trains in secret, honing his strength. He doesn't want to rely on his powers alone. He needs to be stronger on his own terms. Then, unexpectedly, Ira confronts him. "Ken, She hesitates, gripping her cross tightly. Then, summoning all her courage, she blurts out, "I like you!" Ken freezes. Before he can react, Ira steps forward, determined. "A confession must be sealed with a kiss," she declares. Ken, flustered, stumbles backward. "Wait, what? No, that's not..." Ira lunges forward, but Ken dodges, leading to an awkward tumble. Just as they collapse onto the floor, the worst possible person arrives. Momo, having grown suspicious of Ken's secretive behavior, had followed him. Now, she stands in the doorway, wide-eyed, staring at the scene. Ira is on top of Ken. Ken's face is red with embarrassment. Momo misunderstands everything. Her eyes flash with fury. You jerk!" she shouts before storming off, refusing to hear any explanations. Ken groans. "Why do things like this always happen to me?" Strange phenomenon, a rift in reality. Before Ken can go after Momo, the ground beneath them trembles. The air crackles with an unnatural energy, and in the blink of an eye, everything changes. Momo and Ken are pulled into separate dimensions. Momo finds herself alone in a dark, watery landscape, while Ken appears in a strange, glowing void, face to face with a bewildered Ira. "Not again," Ken mutters. The alien threat, a sinister plot unfolds. As they try to make sense of their surroundings, a familiar yet terrifying realization dawns on Ken. "They're back," he says grimly. "Who?" Ira asks. "The aliens. The extraterrestrial beings have returned, targeting humans once more. But this time, they aren't just after humans. They want Ken's supernatural abilities. His power surpasses even their advanced technology, making him a prime target. And their demands? Disturbing. They want my banana," Ken says flatly. Ira blinks. "Your what?" Ken clears his throat awkwardly. "It's a euphemism. Just know that I'm in serious danger." Battle begins. The boxing crab alien. Before they can strategize, an alien creature with enormous, muscular claws appears. A boxing crab alien. With a guttural roar, it charges at them. Ken instinctively transforms into his demon form, effortlessly dodging the attacks and countering with a powerful strike. Ira, gripping her cross, tries to fight back, but the creature knocks her aside. As she lies dazed, the aliens gather around, puzzled. "Why is this human here? Only those with strong spiritual energy should have entered." As the battle rages on, Ira, Ken, and Momo find themselves constantly adapting to their enemies' unpredictable attacks. Ira's agility and spiritual powers allow her to evade and counter many of the incoming strikes, but the sheer number of enemies overwhelms her. The crab-like opponent, with its razor-sharp pincers, lunges at her, forcing her to somersault backward. However, just as she regains her footing, multiple adversaries restrain her, their combined strength proving too much. She struggles, her energy dwindling, but refuses to give up. Meanwhile, Ken, still struggling with his embarrassment over his nakedness, hesitates before tapping into his demonic powers. However, when he sees Ira and Momo in danger, his instincts take over. With a roar, he unleashes a surge of dark energy, transforming into his monstrous form. His claws tear through the enemies, his newfound strength giving him an edge. Momo, using her psychic abilities, counters the enemy's mental attacks, shielding her friends from their insidious influence. As the battle intensifies, the mysterious group known as the SS decides to step in. Realizing that Ken's transformation poses a significant threat, they channel their energies to create an ultimate space, a domain that suppresses supernatural abilities. Immediately, Ken's transformation falters, his strength waning. The group finds themselves at a severe disadvantage as their enemies close in. Despite the dire situation, Momo refuses to let them be defeated. Summoning every ounce of her strength, she launches herself into battle, using a combination of brute force and precision attacks to hold back the enemy. But just as they think they're gaining the upper hand, a new challenger emerges, a terrifying mantis shrimp creature. Its movements are blindingly fast, and it delivers supersonic punches that shatter the ground beneath them. The team barely has time to react as the battlefield shifts. Suddenly, they are submerged in a mysterious pool of water. The coldness shocks their systems, and before they can fully comprehend their surroundings, an enormous creature, one that resembles the legendary Nessie, emerges from the depths. With its massive body and glowing eyes, it exudes an aura of overwhelming power. The shifting currents make movement difficult, and the pressure of the deep water saps their strength. Ken and Momo, struggling to stay afloat, quickly realize that their usual fighting techniques are useless in this environment. The mantis shrimp and Nessie attack relentlessly, forcing them into a desperate struggle for survival. Amidst the chaos, Ken and Momo exchange heated words, Ken finally admitting his emotions, while Momo, flustered, struggles to respond. Their moment is cut short when Ira, overwhelmed by the force of the current, is dragged down. In a desperate act, Momo channels her powers, pulling Ira to safety just in time. Determined to fight back, the group devises a clever strategy. Momo manipulates the water, expelling it from her body to propel herself at high speeds. Using this newfound mobility, she distracts the enemy while Ken, using sheer willpower, delivers a powerful headbutt to their fused opponent. With Ira providing support, the team lands a decisive blow, shattering the enemy's form. As the battlefield dissolves, they find themselves back in the real world. However, to their horror, they are still soaking wet and completely naked, right in front of their entire school. The sudden realization sends waves of panic through them. Their classmates stare, some in shock, others stifling laughter. Momo's face turns beet red, Ira shrieks in embarrassment, and Ken, despite his usual bravado, is left speechless. Just as they attempt to recover from the humiliation, the school erupts into chaos. The battle may be over, but now they must deal with the social fallout of their predicament. The episode ends on a hilarious yet awkward note, leaving the trio to navigate the consequences of their actions and, perhaps, their growing feelings for one another. This episode masterfully blends humor, emotional revelations, and supernatural twists, as tensions rise between Momo, Ken, and Ira. The school becomes a battleground for drama, while an unexpected alien threat looms in the background. Meanwhile, a surprising subplot involving Mr. Crab adds an element of heartfelt struggle, revealing the challenges of survival and sacrifice. Momo finds herself caught in a web of misunderstandings when a controversial nudity incident shakes up the school. Although unintended, the situation spirals out of control, and Ira, unwilling to lose her social standing, shifts the blame onto Momo. As rumors spread, Momo struggles with embarrassment and frustration. Ken, already overwhelmed by his suspicions of an alien conspiracy, finds himself growing closer to Momo. Their connection deepens as they share moments of honesty and humor, though Momo often teases Ken about his feelings. Ken, in turn, tries to balance his emotions while dealing with newfound supernatural abilities. The school nurse begins investigating a recent bullying incident, uncovering the complicated relationships between students. As tensions flare, Ira eventually confesses to spreading false rumors about Momo. Though her apology is unexpected, it signals a turning point in the school's social dynamics. Ken's fears about an alien presence prove true when he realizes that extraterrestrial beings are interested in stealing human abilities. This revelation aligns with the appearance of mysterious yokai spirits, who are actively working to prevent the aliens from succeeding. While Ken initially believes the aliens are targeting his supernatural powers, it becomes clear that their reach extends further. Momo's powers may also be at risk. However, the most bizarre revelation comes when Ken learns that the aliens might be interested in his private parts as part of their genetic research. With these growing concerns, the trio, Momo, Ken, and Ira, must put aside their personal conflicts to prepare for the inevitable confrontation. But before they can take action, a real alien appears before them, confirming Ken's suspicions and setting the stage for an even greater conflict. Amid the chaos, an unexpected character takes center stage. Mr. Crab, a hard-working yet physically weak individual, struggling to provide for his son. His son suffers from a rare condition that requires daily blood transfusions, putting an immense burden on Mr. Crab. Determined to help, Momo and Ken join forces with Seiko to find a solution. Seiko, known for her unconventional methods, suggests getting Mr. Crab a dairy cow since his blood closely resembles cow's milk. Initially hesitant, Momo eventually agrees, leading to a comedic but touching effort to acquire a cow for Mr. Crab's family. Mr. Crab's gratitude is immense, and the scene highlights the kindness and generosity of the characters. The episode balances humor with heartfelt moments, showing that even in the midst of supernatural conflicts, human struggles remain just as significant. As the episode draws to a close, Momo faces another surprise. Her old best friend and first crush, Jane, unexpectedly shows up. Jane's return stirs up old feelings and raises new questions about Momo's emotional state. At the same time, Seiko convinces Momo to perform a comedic act in exchange for buying new uniforms for the kids. The humorous exchange contrasts with the deeper emotional themes of the episode, keeping the tone lighthearted while still moving the story forward. This episode masterfully weaves romance, mystery, and comedy, keeping viewers engaged with its unique mix of emotional moments and supernatural intrigue. As Momo, Ken, and Ira deal with their complicated feelings, the alien threat continues to grow, promising an even greater conflict ahead. Meanwhile, the subplot involving Mr. Crab adds an unexpected but touching layer to the narrative. With Jane's arrival and the confirmed existence of aliens, the stakes are higher than ever. How will Momo navigate her relationships? Will Ken be able to protect his powers and his private parts from the aliens? And what secrets does Jane bring with her? The next episode is sure to be filled with even more surprises, humor, and emotional depth. The episode delves into themes of friendship, unresolved emotions, and supernatural mysteries, blending heartfelt moments with action and humor. As Jen moves in with Momo's family, the tension between the characters grows, especially as past memories resurface. Momo struggles with her mixed feelings. While she remembers Jen's teasing in the past, she also acknowledges his charm and sincerity. Meanwhile, Ken, who has been a constant presence in Momo's life, feels a growing sense of insecurity. Jen's arrival shakes up Momo's routine. She initially resents his presence, remembering how he used to tease her, but she also realizes that he's in a difficult situation, with his parents hospitalized. Jen's ability to see ghosts since moving into a strange house has left him desperate for help, and Mrs. Seiko steps in, offering her expertise in handling supernatural matters. She playfully bribes Momo into assisting by promising her free uniforms for life, putting Momo in a tough spot. At school, Momo's friends are wary of Jen's presence. They wonder if he might become too close to Momo, especially since he seems interested in her. This creates an awkward dynamic, with Momo caught between the people she cares about. Ken, in particular, struggles with his emotions, unsure whether he should distance himself or fight for Momo's attention. Ken finds himself growing frustrated, watching Momo and Jen reconnect. He had never openly expressed his feelings for Momo, but seeing Jen in the picture makes him confront them head-on. He resolves to focus on self-improvement, believing that distancing himself from Momo might be the best option. However, as he watches her interact with Jen, he realizes that letting go isn't as easy as he thought. Just as the emotional stakes heighten, a bizarre supernatural event interrupts their struggles. A life-sized anatomical model comes to life and starts attacking them. The trio is forced to work together, setting aside their personal conflicts to deal with the situation. The chase is chaotic and comedic, with the model outwitting them at every turn. Their teamwork is put to the test as they try to corner it, only for it to keep slipping away. The chase eventually leads them to a junkyard, where the model reveals its true motivation. It is searching for its true love. This revelation catches Ken off guard, making him reflect on his own emotions. The model's desperate pursuit of love mirrors Ken's internal battle, forcing him to admit that he has been in love with Momo all along. In the aftermath of the chaotic confrontation, Ken comes to a decision. He will not give up on Momo. Even though he knows it won't be easy, and that Jen's presence complicates things, he chooses to stay by her side. His resolve is stronger than ever, as he recognizes that his love for Momo isn't something he can simply ignore. The episode ends on a bittersweet note, with unresolved emotions lingering in the air. Momo, though flustered, seems to have her own doubts about her feelings. Jen's presence brings warmth but also uncertainty, while Ken stands firm in his decision to fight for her. Meanwhile, Mrs. Seiko hints that the ghost in Jen's family home might be far more dangerous than expected, setting up an eerie mystery for the next episode. This episode successfully blends romance, supernatural mystery, and comedy, offering viewers an engaging mix of emotional growth, thrilling action, and heartfelt moments. As Momo, Ken, and Jen navigate their tangled emotions, the audience is left eagerly anticipating the next chapter in their journey. The story picks up with Momo and her friends facing new emotional and supernatural challenges. As they try to navigate their complex relationships and a growing mystery, tensions rise between Ken and Zen, while Momo finds herself caught between them. Momo approaches Seiko with an unusual request. She asks if a model girl named Hanke can stay at her place. Seiko hesitates, concerned about the challenges of taking in yet another guest, given the strange occurrences already happening around them. However, after some heartfelt persuasion, Seiko finally agrees, but under one strict condition: romantic activities must remain private. Ken grows increasingly irritated as Zen continues to get closer to Momo. Zen openly admires Momo's supernatural abilities, offering her compliments, and even making playful gestures, which only fuels Ken's jealousy. Their rivalry manifests in both humorous and tense moments, as they each try to outshine the other in Momo's eyes. While Momo tries to keep things balanced, it becomes clear that both men are deeply invested in earning her attention. Amidst the love triangle, the group faces a series of eerie events. Strange occurrences unfold at school during the night, and whispers of an ancient curse at Zen's house begin to surface. Desperate for answers, the group turns to Momo, believing that her supernatural abilities might help unravel the mystery. Just when things seem overwhelming, a mysterious girl named Sakura arrives, claiming to know something about the curse. She offers her help but insists that a special marble is needed to seal the spirit. The group hesitates, unsure whether to trust her, but with no other options, they agree to meet her at a secluded hill for the ritual. A battle against the spirit. At the hill, Sakura begins her ritual, but before it can be completed, a powerful spirit emerges and launches an attack. The group fights desperately to hold it back, relying on Momo's abilities and Sakura's guidance. Despite their exhaustion, they manage to use the marble to seal the spirit away. The moment of victory is bittersweet. While they succeed, the battle leaves them drained, and new questions about Sakura's true motives linger. After the intense battle, the group gathers to process everything that has happened. Playful teasing arises as some members confess their feelings for Momo, creating more tension between Ken and Zen. However, their lighthearted moment is short-lived when they realize their own house might be hiding even darker secrets. They stumble upon clues that suggest the existence of a hidden room, one that might hold the key to uncovering the full truth behind the curse. The episode concludes with an air of uncertainty. While the immediate danger has passed, the group is left with more questions than answers. What other secrets are buried within their home? Can they truly trust Sakura? And most importantly, how will Momo navigate her growing feelings for Ken and Zen while dealing with these supernatural threats? As the mystery deepens, the next chapter promises even more drama, danger, and emotional revelations. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Dandadan breakdown, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss an anime explainer. Want more anime breakdowns? Check out these videos next. See you in the next one. Stay awesome and keep exploring the anime world.